Yo, what is going on, you guys? It is Burn Power here, bringing you guys another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review for you guys about the Unusual Way Sports Pink Foxes and Silver Foxes. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Alright, so I'm going to start with talking about the Silver Foxes with you guys here. But before I get into that, let's go over some general specifications of these two mouse skates. They have a 100% pure PTFE outer layering on them. They are 3-layer skates, the adhesive on the bottom, the PTFE on the outside, as well as an SMPF foam that Unusual Way is calling their Black Pro shock absorbing foam, which essentially just means that they lose a little bit of durability, but they also dampen sound really well, so they're going to be a lot less distracting, especially for my friends that do not play with headphones on. And of course, that dampening foam works its magic. They are very, very quiet skates. But another thing that you should really look out for, especially when you're applying these skates, is they actually change sizes based off the row. So every other row is going to be the exact same size. So this row is the exact same size as this row, but this row is the same as this row. So they get bigger and smaller depending on what row you're on. So just make sure that you apply skates either from the exact same row or every other row. Otherwise, you're going to have inconsistencies and wobbling with your mouse. And as always, just remember that less is more when it comes to skates. Depending on your speed, less skates are obviously going to give you a much faster experience. Now that we have those general specifications out of the way, let's get into these Silver Foxes here. So I've tested these on a number of surfaces. Our balance pad today is going to be the Razer Gigantus V2. Our speed pad is going to be the Genesis Pro, what I have on my desk right now, and our control pad is going to be the GSR SE. So let's start with the control pad. To me, the Silver Foxes feel quite sticky, which makes it really nice for flicking. So for things like tack shooters, it's going to provide you quite a bit of an advantage, especially if you're a high sensitivity player, as there's a whole lot of stopping power as well as a bunch of dynamic friction. But one thing I really like about these skates is there's a very low amount of static friction, which essentially just means from when your mouse is stopped to when it starts going, you feel very little pushback from the skates themselves. And this helps to create a more kind of linked feeling between your mouse movements and what shows up on your screen, as there's a little bit less delay of when you want to start moving and when it actually starts moving. But again, it does keep that very high stopping power, which is something that I can really commend Unusual Way Sports on. So next, let's go over our balance pad, the Gigantus V2. I think they feel very responsive. Again, there is a lack of static friction to them, but they actually do have quite a high dynamic friction again on the balance pad, especially when they're broken in and you kind of get past a little bit of that PTFE on the surface. They gain a ton of dynamic friction, which some people like, some people hate. It just depends on what type of gamer you are. So for people that play, again, very tack shooter heavy games, but even for people that play games that have a mixture of both tracking and flicking, I could recommend these skates on a balance pad for you. And next, let's go over our speed pad here. And surprisingly, these skates still have quite a good amount of stopping power on them. Again, pretty much zero static friction, and then they lose a ton of their dynamic friction. So these kind of feel like very responsive skates, but they do have a lot of stopping power, which makes them very nice for controlling heavy games when you need to lock onto a target and then begin your tracking. Games like Overwatch or the finals are where these skates on this mouse pad really shine through. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Silver Foxes. So now let's get into the Pink Foxes. Alright, here we are with our Pink Foxes on this Pulsar X2 Crazy Light. And again, same thing, these have a layer of that PTFE on the surface. But what makes these different from the Silver Foxes is the PTFE layer is a little bit thicker on these, and there's a little bit less of that SMPF foam, which essentially means that they're going to stay faster for longer, but they're also going to be a little bit louder than the Silver Foxes. And again, we're going to start with how these feel on the GSR SE, my control pad. Compared to the Silver Foxes, they have a much faster feeling and a lot less dynamic friction, but they still have a pretty decent static friction to them, but they have very nice stopping power, which makes this, in my opinion, my favorite tack FPS combo that I've ever used, especially because I am a low sensitivity player. Now, I would not recommend this combo to a high sensitivity player. If you're high sensitivity, you'd be much better off with the Silver Foxes, but as a low sensitivity player, these skates on this mousepad feel really amazing. So next, let's talk about the Gigantus V2, again, the balance pad. They feel very smooth, with again a very high stopping power, but it's also very low in both dynamic and static friction once again. So again, I would really recommend this for pretty much all low sensitivity players. If you're using a control pad, I could see you using these Pink Foxes. And last but not least, let's talk about the speed pad, the Genesis Pro that I'm on right now. One thing that I've noticed again between the Pink Foxes and the Silver Foxes, again, because of the Pink Foxes having a little bit less of that foam layer, is you can actually feel the texture of the mouse pad a little bit better than on the Silver Foxes. But again, they have foam, so you're not really going to feel a whole lot of texture from the pad from either of the two. But what's crazy about these skates on this pad is there's pretty much no friction. There's zero static friction, zero dynamic friction. I mean, this thing is just flying. I am putting almost no like force into any of these, and this mouse is just going. So I would really not recommend this unless you are a super low sensitivity player like myself and you play games that are very tracking heavy like Overwatch or the Finals or Marvel Rivals. But yeah, generally I don't think I'd recommend these on a speed pad here. You'd be much better off with getting some Silver Foxes if you are a speed pad enjoyer. Alright, so I think that's going to be enough from me today. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me as much as I am of hearing myself, so that's going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed this video, found it informational at all, please do leave a like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts, or if you have any questions. I read every single comment and I reply to most. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.